Hello and welcome back to Twin Astrology. I'm Marla and this is the Twin Flame Divine Partnership energy reading for the Virgo new moon and the Fall Equinox. If you would like a personal reading with me, you can visit my website, which is Twin Astrology. And I just want to let you guys know that I do have around a 7-week wait for readings right now, and it's been that way for a long time. So if you're thinking about getting a reading with me, kind of keep that wait in mind. You can also get my most up-to-date postings there. Follow me on Facebook at Twin Astrology. And I want to remind you guys that we still have openings for Twin Flames Together in Boston, October 6th, 7th, and 8th. So if you would like to meet me and Dio Veselinov, Donna Fisher, and Negla El-Shemi, please join us for that, and I'll put a link in the notes. This is going to be a workshop to answer everyone's questions, share information, and just basically share the love and get to spend some time with some other twin flames. All right, I'm calling this video Balance into Wholeness because we've been working on coming to this balance in all the cleansing and purging that we've been doing in the last few months is bringing us, this is like the culmination of that energy. So the first thing that I want to talk about is on the 18th of September, Venus is crossing the 28th degree of Leo. Now this is where the new moon solar eclipse was. And remember, we had Mercury stationed on that degree as his retrograde. So he triggered that eclipse degree. Now Venus is going to be going over that. And if you recall, we had that Sabian symbol. Mermaid has climbed to the rocky shore of a bleak coast. She awaits the prince who will bring her immortality. Well, now that we have this third planet crossing here, because we actually, I think it's the fourth planet because Mars crossed over too. We had the sun and the moon, then we had Mercury, then we had Mars, then we had now Venus. Remember, Venus represents the feminine energy. And as she goes over this degree, she is part of this balancing energy that's occurring. And I'm being shown that this is representing the divine feminine being taken to another level of her healing the masculine within. Okay, remember the Sabian. And she's waiting for the prince who will bring her immortality. Well, we now understand that the prince was inside of us all along. And we don't need to wait. We have the masculine within us. So we've healed that. We've healed some of the masculine and we brought ourselves into balance. And we know that what we heal within translates to what is without. So that opens up a new level for the masculine to be able to heal. So I want to talk about this a little bit deeper because I know some of you guys are going to have questions. We talk so much about the divine feminine and divine masculine has twin flames. And I want to just speak to that a bit because I think there's a tendency to generalize and say the divine feminine is the women and the divine masculine is the males. That's not always the case. And we all have these energies within us. And our aim is to reach 50% feminine energy and 50% masculine energy. This is what we call the inner union. Some people call the twin within. And when you get to this state of being 50-50, you're in complete balance. You've reached your wholeness. And when you have a strong inner masculine, because I'm talking about the divine feminine specifically, and how we've brought our divine masculine in and we've healed it. This is really important because as the divine feminine most of you know that the energy of the feminine is to be very intuitive, and we can tap into the spiritual knowledge. But without a strong masculine energy, we're too afraid to share that. So you can be getting all the downloads in the world, but if you're too afraid to speak about it to anyone or too afraid to speak out, what good is it doing? But when you have a balanced inner masculine and feminine, when your inner masculine is strong, then you feel strong within yourself and you're able to take action, right? So say you're in the feminine energy and you tune in and your higher self tells you, hey, go teach a goddess class. But you're like, no, I can't do that. I'm too afraid. I don't want to speak in public. What if people laugh at me? What if people judge me? And so you don't do anything about it. That's not serving anything. It's not doing anyone any good. But when you balanced yourself and you become strong in your masculine, remember the masculine is active. The feminine receives, the masculine gives. The feminine is still, the masculine takes action. So when you're balanced and your higher self says to you, hey, go teach a goddess class, you go, hey, yeah, that's a great idea. And you start taking action. And you're not afraid. And you're not afraid of judgment. And you're not afraid of criticism. And you're not afraid of what people are going to say about you. So when you get to that point, that is when you know that you're fully balanced. And then when you get to that point, there's no needing your masculine. Okay? As within, so without. If you're a divine feminine and you have a weak masculine, what are you doing? You're searching for the masculine energy outside of yourself. You're searching for your twin to come and bring you that masculine energy because you don't feel safe and secure in your own skin. But when you bring up your own masculine, you do feel safe and secure in your own skin. And guess what? You don't need them anymore to fulfill that role for you. This is what we mean by the twin within. And once the feminine is able to unlock this within herself, then the masculine is better able to unlock it. Because you say the masculine, sure, he feels strong and he feels comfortable taking action on things. But what if he has a weak feminine? He doesn't have any intuitive abilities. So his higher self might be trying to talk to him, might be trying to guide him to do something, but he doesn't hear it. You can use this with like karmic partners. So if you're the feminine and you might get intuitive guidance that it's time to leave your karmic partner, but you don't have a strong masculine, so you're too afraid to do anything about it. You're too afraid to take action. You don't have that internal safety net. And if you're the masculine energy and you're in the same boat and you have a karmic relationship and maybe you want to leave and you want to take action and you want to go, but you don't have the intuitive knowledge to like see ahead of you and see what is out there and see what you're supposed to do. You don't have the inner guidance. So do you understand why we need to balance this? And then once we do, we don't need the other person. And when we don't need that other person, we're able to surrender 100%. And this is what I mean by when you have union within, it makes it union without available. Because as long as you're needing, you are not in unconditional love. I had dinner with a friend last night, and She's been a great inspiration to me. She's also a twin flame. We didn't know this when we met, and we met under other circumstances, and through talking we discovered this about each other. And she's actually been through it all. She had 15 years of separation, and then she had 15 years of union, and now her twin has crossed to the other side. And so she's experiencing that part of the journey. And she's been an inspiration to me because of, the guidance that she offers. And so last night when she was talking and telling me about her relationship and when they were in separation, and she said, I told him that I don't need you. Actually, I was asking her about, hey, did you ever experience where you felt his energy around you when you were in separation? And she was saying how she had kind of blocked that because she felt that he had made the choice to stay in his own relationship, his karmic relationship, and she didn't want to interfere in that. And she wanted him to be happy, even if that meant he wasn't with her. She just wanted him to be happy, and so she tried to block that energy so that she would not interfere with his life and his choices. And that's when she told me that she had said to him, I don't need you. Yes, I want you. I would like to be with you, but I don't need you because I'm capable on my own. And guess what? It was after that they actually started to come back together. Because that's what unconditional love is. And we often say we love our twin unconditionally. But do you love them enough to let them go fully and allow them to do what they desire to do? So, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what can I do? What can I do to balance my inner masculine and feminine? Well, like a lot of this journey, a lot has to do with divine timing and where you're at. You can't force it. You can't say, well, I would like to balance this, so now I am. It's the purging and the clearing that you do is what makes this balance possible. Because the reason that you're out of alignment is because you have healing. So if you're a divine feminine and you have a weak masculine, you have healing to do. You have healing issues with the masculine energy. You may not associate the masculine energy with safety and security. You might associate them with violence, abuse, control, manipulation, judgment because of things that you experienced earlier in your life or in your past lives. That's why we're multidimensional beings and we have to go back and we have to heal the past. Same way if you're a man and you're in the masculine energy and you have a weak feminine. Okay, well, you might believe that the feminine energy is overly emotional and that they don't make sense, that they're not logical, and you can't understand the feminine energy. And so this is something that you've created in your life and you have to heal. Or you've been hurt or abused by women in the past. And so you don't associate the feminine necessarily with love and nurturing. And so you are not fully open to that side of yourself. So it's really just about going through the process. That's all you can do. Continue to clear and continue to heal. Take deep looks at how you view the opposite sex and what has played into that. For example, your father, your paternal relationship. or, you know, relationships with your brother, your exes. All of these things play into it, and they need to be healed. And of course, like I said, your past lives affect this as well, and maybe some separations that you experience in past lives with your twin. Now, I will say that there might be some things that you can do to help. So, for example, I've used myself before, and I've talked about something that helped me was I took belly dance lessons. I still take belly dance lessons, and this helps me tap into my feminine side because it's very intuitive and it's flowing. It helps you focus on your body, which is what the feminine energy is. It's like being in your body. It helps you ground. It helps you get in touch with that feminine goddess energy. Then on the flip side, at the same time, I've been working on with a personal trainer and doing weightlifting, weight training. And so this has helped me bring up my masculine, not only making my body stronger, but while I'm doing this, I'm using my will, which is my masculine energy, to have because a lot of it, like with weight training, it's your mind, right? It's your will, it's your focus on achieving a goal. So it's not only about building the strength, but it's using your will to not give up and to push yourself further and further. So I'm sure there's other things that you can do that you can think of that helps you get in touch with each side of the energy. So if you need to bring up the masculine, right, it's about being able to take action and making yourself feel safe. Because a lot of times, like with the feminine, and this is how I used to be, I was afraid to do things. Might not seem like it now because here I am like putting out these videos, and I've been doing these videos for a few years, but you know, before I started doing this, I would have never ever imagined it. And it was very hard at the beginning for me this was really stepping out of my comfort zone, which is another way that we balance, another way that we bring up our masculine energy is by pushing ourselves through our fears. You know, remember, like I said, using your force of will to achieve things. Masculine is action. Feminine is inactive. So if you're a person that's very active, you know, maybe you're even a woman, you have a lot of masculine, you want to sit back and relax. You want to meditate. You want to nurture yourself. You want to spend time with yourself. You want to tune into your intuition. Maybe get some oracle cards, for example. As we balance the masculine and feminine, we're also balancing giving and receiving, which is another important aspect of this season, which we'll talk about in a minute. So the balance brings surrender and acceptance. And I want to just mention here, everyone is at different stages. So if you're feeling like, if the word surrender triggers you, or the words letting go trigger you, that's okay. That just means that you're not at this level yet. 4 years ago, if someone would have said the word surrender to me or let go, I would have flipped. I wasn't ready to hear that. But this is growth. So for someone that's been on this journey 10 years and someone that's been on this journey 10 months, they're at completely different levels. But that doesn't mean that you are not going up a level. Okay? Surrender Surrender for me happened in stages. It didn't happen all at once. And I'm probably not at the top peak of my surrender level now. I expect that over the next few years, I'll reach more and more and more levels of surrender. So it's all a process. So just know that we're all like getting up to another level. Okay, so the new moon in Virgo. This is happening on September 20th for most. If you're in the Pacific, the West Coast, that'll be happening on the 19th because it happens at 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the new moon is at 27 degrees, 27 minutes of Virgo. And this actually adds up to 9, which to me, it's about that transition period, this new moon. We're ending, we're leaving one section of our journey and we're going on to a new level in our journey. Now, the Sabian symbol for the new moon is a bald-headed man in uniform has seized power. Kind of a funny Sabian, but to me, it's saying this is now the time of the rising of the masculine, right? And not just the masculine without. You have to remember the masculine within. So if you are still needing to work on your masculine side, the Sabian is saying that this is a great opportunity for you. Because remember, we're all both, and we all want to be 50-50. And so when I say the rising of the masculine, I'm talking about, yes, the rising up of men into their divine nature, but I'm also talking about the masculine energy within all of us is rising. Just like the males on the planet, they have divine feminine energy within them, and that energy has been rising up within them over the last few years. And this is all what we do to balance. But a segment of the divine feminine is coming into their power, and we are seeing that we were much stronger than we thought they were, than we thought we were. Now, at the same time, the same day, Venus enters Virgo, and she starts forming a conjunction with Mars that is going to be exact on October 5th, which is the day of the full moon. So this is a transit that we're going to be talking about more. Mars and Venus coming into conjunction. And a conjunction is when they're joined up together. So they're both in the same sign on the day of the new moon. Venus is at 0 degrees, 13 minutes at the time of the new moon, and Mars is at 9. So they're coming, they're traveling, they're coming closer and closer together. On October 5th, they will be in an exact conjunction. Now remember, Venus represents the feminine energy and Mars represents the masculine energy. So what do you think is happening as they come closer together and they join up? Something else that I want to say about the balancing, I'm not sure if I said it or not. When we reach new levels within of the masculine and feminine, I've found that it usually translates to some kind of merging energetically with your twin flame in the spiritual realm. So you may have some kind of, as you balance more, you may get some sign like through a vision or a dream or something that shows you that your energy is becoming more balanced. So this new moon, I feel, is bringing us new beginnings towards our destiny, especially in relation to mission, because it's in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is the sign of service. And we're beginning to see the direction we're meant to go in. So this is the beginning of coming out of that void. And it started to happen a little bit for people, but I think with this new moon, that void is going to be getting less and less, and we're going to start getting opportunities and intuitive guidance about our direction and where we're going with that. Mercury is at 12 Virgo and Neptune's at 12 Pisces, so they're going to be making an exact opposition at the time of the new moon, and this is removing mental limits. Watch out for dreams, signs, and synchronicities to show you what direction you're going in. We also have that grand trine in fire still happening, North Node, Uranus, and Saturn. And that aspect is helping us do things differently. Sorry, I'm trying to read my writing again. It's like putting your wants and your authenticity over your prior beliefs. I feel like it's the release of your prior beliefs so that, you can take this new direction, which is really what your soul is calling for you to do. And Saturn's been on the 21st degree of Sagittarius for a while. This was the degree that he retrograded back to, and then he's stationed there. Now he's gone forward. He's in forward motion, but he hasn't moved off the 21st degree yet. I think I said when I did my video on Saturn Direct that it was going to be like 4 to 6 weeks that he was going to be on that Sabian, or on that degree. The Sabian, which is a Chinese laundry. So we know from that Sabian that Saturn is helping us cleanse and purge the old karma out of us so that we can move forward with our destiny. The biggest thing about the new moon is that it's going to be directly opposite Chiron. Well, it's about 1 degree past Chiron. Chiron's at 26. The new moon is at 27, sorry. Chiron is on the Sabian symbol, a harvest moon. Now, Virgo is the sign that represents the harvest, and at the new moon, we're just 2 days away from the Fall Equinox, and the Fall Equinox represents harvest time. So, this is telling us we're harvesting something. We've planted something, and something is coming to fruition now, and we're able to make use of it. It's what we've sown. And remember, Chiron has to do with our past lives and our multidimensionality. So I feel like we're going to be getting rewards for good karma. This is bringing in healing, new beginnings, clearing past life karma that we've been working on for a long time. I wrote a post the other day about soul integration that we've been going through and using our multidimensional nature to go and heal alternative timelines, which what I mean by that is your past lives, but they're not really past, they're all happening now. And you can go in and you can access them. And usually Chiron, transits to Chiron are showing us that we're accessing this point. So we've been doing this for a while. Remember the solar eclipse was in conjunction to Chiron. And even before that, though, we were working on healing this past life karma. But I think for a lot of you at the solar eclipse new moon, there was a big release and clearing of some past life karma. I know there was for me. So what we've been doing is taking soul fragments and integrating them. And so what I mean by that is there can be like pieces of our soul get stuck in other timelines. And it's that energy is not fully integrated into us. We probably have fears around what happened to us in those past lives. And so we're living in fear of that energy, if you will. But as we walk through our fear and we look at this stuff and we heal it, then we're able to then turn around and integrate these aspects of ourselves. So in some of these past lives, there's skills and abilities that we had, and we can't access them if that part of our soul is fragmented. But if we go back there and retrieve it, now we have access to that. Or well, I'm going to use the scenario of like someone was persecuted, you know, in the Middle Ages. Hundreds of thousands, if not a million, women were convicted of witchcraft and burned at the stake, or worse, or hanged, or whatever happened to them. And so many of us have experienced this level of trauma. And in certain situations, this can create karmic fears around those skills that you did. So maybe, like if you were persecuted as a witch, for example, in truth, you weren't a witch, or part of my mission right now is to take back the stigma of witchcraft. So yes, you were a witch, but a witch is not a bad thing. A witch is just someone that's connected to the earth. And so you were probably just a healer or an herbalist or something like that, and you were persecuted for it. Well, then you can fear those abilities, and you cannot fully integrate them if you fear it. So this is your opportunity to go back and heal that, so that you can then retrieve those skills and abilities and that knowledge that you had from that life. What I was shown is a miner panning for gold or for jewels. And you know how you have a pan and you take a scoop of dirt and you put it in the pan and then you mix it with water. Well, it's like the dirt is like the fears and the karma and the things. And you are right now in that Chinese laundry, you're washing it away. And what you're left with is the gold or the jewel from that incarnation. So you're getting rid of the bad while bringing forth the good. And I think I'm going to do this now. I pulled some karma cards because this is such a big time of karmic clearing. I asked Spirit to guide us through what were some of the bigger karmic experiences that were being healed right now for twin flames. And this is what I got. Persecution and inquisition. So just what the example that I just talked about. Doesn't have to be witchcraft. You could have been persecuted for just speaking out or for being different. There's many things that you could have been persecuted for. Phobias. Many of you may have phobias that deal with past lives. For example, fear of flying, fear of trains, fears of water, fears of ships, fears of certain animals, all kinds of things that represent subconscious past life memories. Trees. This one is about ancient wisdom. Again, I'm talking about paganism, or some would call it witchcraft, and the ancient knowledge that we use and we knew from those lives. We can go back and we can access this knowledge and bring it back because the world needs this knowledge once again. galactic. Some of you might have karma on different in different star systems or connected to different types of star beings, or you may have knowledge related to different types of star beings or previous incarnations as different star beings, and you're working on integrating that knowledge. I think this card can represent star seeds as well, and you may have been persecuted in the past for knowledge that you carried as a star seed, and you're healing that so you can bring forth that knowledge once again. And the last one is forgiveness. And so this is also a big one. Learning to forgive people in this life that have harmed you or wronged you, and people in other incarnations. Yeah, very important time for forgiveness and clearing. So we also at this new moon have Jupiter in opposition to Uranus. They're coming closer. Jupiter's at 25:44. Uranus will be at 27:39. And I'm going to talk about this more in a few minutes. But we're getting closer to our authenticity with that, and we're working on doing things differently. And it's helping us step more fully into our multi-dimensionality. And so the goddess energy that's overseeing the Virgo new moon is transformation, butterfly maiden. You are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. I think everybody can feel the transformational energy in the air. I don't think I need to go very in depth with this card. All right, so then we move on to the fall equinox. Which is on September 22nd, officially at 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I wish you Blessed Mabon, which is the festival of the fall equinox. This is when the sun enters the sign of Leo, and it's where we are celebrating the harvest, like I said. And the major thing about the fall equinox is it's equal day and night. Remember, we have a spring equinox as well. So the day, the light, and the darkness are equal, which is appropriate as we move into the sign of Libra, as it's represented by scales, and Libra represents balance. So we are looking back on our life. We're trying to find gratitude. I should say we're looking back on the year and the things that we've been working on, and gratitude for what we are harvesting. And, you know, the saying is you will reap what you have sown. So you will harvest the amount of effort that you have put out. You can't harvest more than you've worked for. But for many of you, this is going to be your hard work paying off. But yeah, it's kind of like a time of reckoning, if you will, and it represents, in some myths, we see the god is dying, or he's getting ready to die, only to return to the earth to be reborn in the spring. We have the feminine energy, the triple goddess energy, going from mother to crone, or the wise woman. So the feminine energy getting in touch with her wisdom from the lessons that she's learned over her life. You can also look at this as the myth of Pluto and Persephone, where Persephone was kidnapped by Pluto, and taken to the underworld, and her mother Demeter, which is the goddess of the harvest, was not very pleased with this, and Demeter stopped anything from growing. Demeter is also known as Ceres, by the way. That's her Roman name. So they had to make a bargain because everyone was dying. So the bargain was Persephone would spend half the year with Demeter above ground and half the year with Pluto in the underworld. So this is representing the time when Persephone goes into the underworld. Of course, it's flipped. If you're in the southern hemisphere, then you're going to be experiencing springtime. So the dark begins to take over the light from the fall equinox up until the winter solstice. Now, Libra is the sign of relationships. Remember the scales, their motto is I balance. So you're trying to balance that energy with another. You're balancing energy with your partnerships. You're balancing within, or our inner masculine and feminine. And we're also balancing the light and the dark, which means our shadow side, right? Because the dark now is beginning to take over the light. We've been doing a lot of work on our shadow side, and I think if for a lot of you, you're understanding now that the shadow side is not bad, that it's something that we need to embrace and integrate. I'm thinking of that soul retrieval that I was talking about. It's not bad. I think part of our mission here is to help people understand their shadow and that it's not something negative. So we won't overcome our shadow. It's about creating an inner balance, understanding our shadow, because when it's conscious, it doesn't wreak havoc with us. Pluto and Scorpio represent our shadow. And Pluto's the lord of the underworld. And what we do in Scorpio is this is where we take the things that we don't want to look at about ourselves and we try to hide them. But then part of your transformation, you cannot do your transformation until you go back and you look at those and you understand it and you integrate it, and then you use that energy to transform. So that's really what we're doing. When you bring that to consciousness, it's no longer wreaking havoc. Nothing is good or bad. Think of the yin-yang symbol, okay, the dark with the light. There's, the two swirls, but then there's also, within the dark, there's a circle of light, and within the light, there's a circle of dark. Neither is separate. There's light and darkness, and there's darkness and light. And, something that I've noticed recently, I don't know if it's something in the energy or something that is just in my own energy that I'm picking up on, but I'm seeing where a lot of people are, their thinking seems to be very black or white. Things are this way or that way. They're good or they're bad. Stereotypes. All white people are like this. All black people are like that. All Muslims are like this. We need to really put that away. Everyone needs to be judged for who they are, not for any one thing about them. Okay, we're all light and dark. The goddess energy that's overseeing the fall equinox is Hatha receptivity. Allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. So this is a big part of coming into the balance of the masculine and feminine. Because when you're balanced, you're able to receive, right? You don't overgive or overtake. You do it in balance. Also, you want to be able to receive right now because the universe is offering you blessings. They're offering you abundance. There's a gift coming for you, a reward, if you will. Remember, this is the harvest. So we're harvesting something, and be willing to receive that. We're also going to be receiving spiritual gifts if we open up to them. As the night and the day are balanced, I feel like this is going to create a thinner veil between the worlds. We have, at this time of the equinox, Jupiter opposite Uranus, and both of them in conjunct. Not both of them. Jupiter's in conjunct Chiron. And so what is happening with that is that we have truth at many levels. Okay, what is your internal truth? You know, we've been talking about this Jupiter-Uranus for a while, and truth coming out. And on some levels, it's probably going to come out in a public arena or in your personal life. You know, this is what I mean by all different layers of truth. And part of it, I feel, is you getting to understand what is your personal truth, your inner truth. We're going to be opening to seeing things in a new way, greater insight into the nature of multidimensionality. Has Jupiter in conjuncts Chiron. This opens us up to other realities, and in conjunction with the opposition to Uranus, and Mercury is also going to be in conjunct Uranus and opposing Chiron. We're more able to open up to these other realities. Sorry, I'm wondering how I got Mercury in here. Scratch Mercury. We'll be more able to feel these other realities. Clearing and purging from other timelines to heal them so that we can ground their energy when Saturn returns to squaring Chiron at the end of October. Remember, Saturn, before his retrograde, he was squaring Chiron for a while, and we were talking about grounding this energy, grounding the third energy, and clearing multidimensional timelines then. So a lot of what we're clearing away now is making way for what we're going to manifest regarding this starting in the end of October. So open yourself up to those other realities if you have healed them. Again, I'm talking about soul retrieval. Now, Jupiter is going to help us connect to higher frequencies and possibly galactic beings if that is part of your personal journey. Trust your inner wisdom right now, which of course comes with when you have a balanced inner masculine and feminine, you do trust your inner wisdom. Be yourself, because that is what you're here to do. Okay, Jupiter opposed Uranus is about being yourself. You are different, and that makes you special. This is how you are creating change. When the masculine and feminine balance, you aren't afraid of confrontation with others or judgment. Okay, remember I talked about that earlier. When you have that balanced inner feminine masculine, you are not afraid to step out in your authenticity because you have that inner strength within you. You don't care about other people's judgments. Are you in heart energy? If so, more spiritual awareness is coming. Whatever your skill set is. So what I mean by that is, if you've made the transition to be more fully heart-centered, you are, your spiritual abilities are going to become stronger, whatever they are. So, if you're a healer, your healing abilities may get bumped up. If you're a channeler, you'll be channeling more information, or you might start channeling different people. If you're a psychic, you might add abilities, or your abilities will get stronger. Because these things are growing and opening more as you are clearing and purging the past so that you could receive these gifts. Remember, we can't receive unless we make room. So we've been clearing out a lot of the old garbage as well to make room for these new things that are coming. These gifts come through are a part of your multidimensionality because they're things that you have can't think of the word. They're things that you have really excelled at in other timelines. You must clear the fear and purify your heart. These gifts are going to be given when you have a pure heart. And when you get there, you are going to know what the truth is. Okay. So real quick, we have the new moon on the 20th and the fall equinox or Mabon on the 22nd. So I just thought I would give you guys some quick ideas of things that you can do to mark this energy. For one, you might want to burn a white candle and a black candle and meditate on balancing things. It could be the light and the dark, the masculine, feminine, the God, goddess energy, death and rebirth. Just meditate on whatever you feel like needs more balance in your life. Give thanks to the gods by offering them food. So remember, this is the harvest, so you might want to make a special meal, and you can set aside a plate of food to offer to God, goddess. You might want to offer wine to your favorite tree or to Mother Earth, because this is a festival where we drink wine. And instead of, or actually I want to say in addition to your normal manifestation ritual that you do for the new moon, which is you're writing down all the things that you want to manifest and create, since it's the harvest time, also take a few minutes to write down things that you're grateful for and acknowledge the abundance that the universe has bestowed on you over this year. And when we're in gratitude, it's much easier for us to manifest more. So some simple ideas if you want to mark the occasion somehow. I definitely suggest at least doing the new moon ritual, which is writing down what you want to create, and maybe doing some kind of cleansing ritual like taking a salt bath or something like that. So now there's a lot of talk about September 23rd. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to what this is about, but someone did point something out to me about it, so I just had a quick look at what a couple people were saying about it, and apparently this is like, I don't know, the apocalypse or the rapture or some kind of revelation, prophecy that is supposed to be happening. Well, I don't really know anything about all that, but on some level, it may be that they're not too far off when they talk about the rapture, because what I'm feeling is that these energies that are coming, that are helping us with all of this, they might be quite strong on the 23rd, actually. And so there's going to be an influx of higher frequency energies coming in. I'm sure there's people out there that are more knowledgeable about like things like solar flares and things like that than I am. But this incoming high frequency energy combined with our new balance in the masculine and feminine energy is having us open our hearts. So there's going to be, I feel, a wave of awakening energy, a wave of heart awakenings. Basically, we're all, like I said, getting boosted up. The energy is kind of like, it's not like on this day we have this energy and on this day we have this energy. It's more like an avalanche of energy. And so one might kind of drop off, but then another one starts. So with that Jupiter, Uranus, Chiron, I feel like this is kind of what the energy may be feeling like around this September 23rd stuff. It could be more of our embodying more of our higher selves. And I'm feeling that freedom is very important here. And I've been seeing so many visions of birds and airplanes too, and balloons, but mostly birds, really anything that flies. And over again, I'm seeing freedom. So there's this new level of love and a new level of freedom that's being granted to us. The thing is, we can't fly if we're chained to each other. And this is also what I've been shown. Like with the balloon, okay? And say the balloon is your twin, and this balloon is tied to you. They can't fly if they're tied to you. So cut the string and let them fly. And vice versa. This is what the surrender is. It's time for us all to untether ourselves in every way. And not to be fearful. I've already received a message regarding one of my recent articles, again, about Marla. Does this mean that I've got to give up my twin, that we're not coming together? What it means is, as long as you're not surrendered, you're probably not going to come into union. Now, you may have a contract where you're going to go into surrender together, but I think those are, less than the other way. Because we're here to be in unconditional love. The thing is, we need to stop waiting. We need to stop waiting right now. This is a tether for us. I can't move forward without my twin. I'm not going to do this without my twin. I can't, I'm not going to take that trip because maybe someday my twin's going to come and I really want to go there with them. I'm not going to move because maybe my twin's going to come and we're going to move in together. I'm not going to leave my karmic relationship because I need my twin to come and save me. And so you just sit there and you wait. Is that expansion? Is that growth? Is that flying? Surrender means again, I have to watch how I word this because everyone's going to go, oh, I'm not coming together with my twin. You have to let it go, whether you are or not. When you find this inner balance, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Remember what I said at the beginning. You might want that, but you don't need that. And if you're not there, if you're not to this level of surrender, that's okay. You will get there in time. Because what comes along with this surrender is also trust and faith and hope and joy and wholeness. And there's nothing to wait for and there's nothing to worry about. You are in complete flow with the universe. So, unchain yourselves. This opens the door to peace, inner peace, which is what many people are sorely lacking, and true surrender. And this level of surrender allows the miracle that you've been waiting for to then manifest. Again, whatever that miracle is. Because there's no expectations. There's no expectation that that miracle is your twin. The expectation is only that there's joy, there's abundance, there's happiness, and there's love for me in the future. And I'm going to allow that into my life. I'm opening my arms to receive it, however that looks for me. All right, let's talk about some cards, guys. So September 23rd, is it going to be the rapture? Well, I think we can expect some very high energy coming in, boosting us up. Like I said, heart awakenings, possible embodiment of higher selves to some degree, Christ consciousness, new levels of Christ consciousness coming onto the planet. And, you know, Christ consciousness it's not a Christian term, so don't get offended by that. Christ consciousness is its own thing. It's just that Jesus embodied, when Jesus was on this planet, he embodied Christ consciousness. And so now, as part of the ascension process, we're all open to embodying the Christ consciousness if we want to. So the cards this week. I was told not to draw divine feminine and divine masculine cards. I was told to draw one set of cards for all twins because there is no separation between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. We are one, and we're becoming oneer all the time. And if we continue to create separation in our mind, that is what we will continue to build, separation from them. When we say the divine masculine is here, the divine feminine is here, it's like us and them. We're all one. So, I don't know what will happen going forward with the cards, but for this energy report, we have one set of cards for both, and a reminder that there is no separation and to remove separation from your mind. And also the point of this is to stop worrying about what the other person is doing, because it's keeping you waiting. Let them do what they must do. And you do what you must do. And just know that everyone is being affected by this energy. They're being affected by this energy. They're doing their work, and you are doing your work. So the first card for Twin Flames is temptation or the devil card. And you know, in this deck, this has Paolo and Francesca on it, and this is from Dante's Inferno, and they're in one of the, I don't know, realms of hell, and they had an affair. Paolo was her brother-in-law, and they had an affair, and her husband killed them both, and so they were punished in purgatory by being blown by winds, because they were blown away by their passions in life, and so for eternity they were to be blown by these winds. But what are they doing? They're flying. And what have we been talking about? Flying. This is a time where you can break your chains if you want to fly. You can overcome your inner demons. You can overcome your fears if you walk through them. This card can also represent spirit coming in to matter, or parts of your soul, or parts of your higher self coming down, or the third energy grounding, and our creative abilities. And you know, this card, the devil, we always talk about the negatives to it, but it's also like having passion and living life with gusto and taking advantage of all the things in the material world. And we can do that in a positive way. Remember, nothing's all dark and all light. Okay, the material world is not bad, and it's a time, you know, where we need to start living. Remember, no more waiting. Go out and live. Take risks. Or be ready to take a risk when you're guided. The second card for twins from the tarot deck is Grace, or the Star. You can see Beatrice here, again from Dante's Inferno, actually. This was his great love, and he had a vision of her being cradled by the god Amor. And so she's resting in Amor's arms. He has her heart, and he's protecting it. And if you can see, her heart is a flame. It's her sacred heart, and this is the energy I'm talking about, the igniting our sacred heart. Within that flame is going to a new level, and at the fall equinox, we have Vesta conjunct the sun. Vesta is that inner flame that we carry within our heart. So get ready for that flame to be turned up a notch. So this card is representing healing, rebirth, renewal. It's a card about having hope and about the difficult times coming to an end and following our stars, or following our dreams and seeing our dreams coming true. It's where we surrender. I mean, look at Beatrice and the card. Is she in resistance? No, she's completely surrendered. She's sleeping. She's relaxed. She's allowing. And this is where we're going. It's when we surrender that the universe can deliver magic to us. And until that surrender, all we're doing is putting up resistance. So new levels of higher guidance coming to us, our abilities, our spiritual gifts and abilities getting stronger, our connection to spirit getting stronger. Three of Wands. So you've put out your desires to the universe, what you've been wanting to create. You've let it be known. And now your desires are manifesting. Your work, these things that you've worked towards are beginning to be harvested. This card is about expansion energy. Thinking outside the box, doing things in a new way, growing and looking forward to growth, looking towards the future and new goals, new dreams. So overcoming limitations. And this card also has to do with working on things together, teamwork and the groups. And you see there's two people there. So a reminder that the masculine and the feminine works on things together. And also as a group, we're all working together. I had this thought this week that it would be great if the twin flame community, at some point, we kind of shift, and instead of focusing so much on our twin, we see the term twin flame has the spiritual path that we've chosen, and working together, like supporting each other and working together, and just seeing it has one path among many, and not just having this romantic connotation to it, which, you know, that's great. I don't have anything against the romance part about it. I'm a romantic myself, and the strong love and things, but just tempering that a little bit with companionship and camaraderie with each other and support and friendship with each other as a group. So that's why I think Twin Flames Together is so awesome, because it brings us together face to face, heart to heart, in community with each other to share. And like Dio says, when you're in the room together, you're not just sharing knowledge, because, you know, someone can share knowledge with you through a video, but it's not the same as feeling their energy and feeling their soul vibrations. And the soul vibrations of each other shifts each other. So, get off my soapbox now. But it's a great community, you know, the Twin Flame community. So where is our heart energy going over the next couple weeks? You deserve love. Yes, but it's hard for us to understand that we deserve love. And it's so funny with twins, because you look at your twin and you're probably saying to them, God, you deserve love. Why don't you realize that you deserve this love that I have for you? Why do you think you're not worthy? And yet inside, are you feeling worthy of it? In many cases, you're not. And so if you're not feeling worthy of the love, why are you expecting your twin to feel worthy of it? What you heal within helps them heal. So if you want them to accept your love, to be open to receiving your love, you be open to receiving your love. You be open to giving yourself love. And know that you deserve great love and you deserve all the best. Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Well, as always, use your judgment. For some of you, this might mean reaching out to your twin, but I think in general, it's about opening up your heart energy and just expressing love everywhere you go. Just being love. And, you know, as we go deeper into this energy over the next couple weeks, we're going to be feeling the love more. And when you get to this point, you can't help but express it because it's so strong and so powerful. And you just have to, you know? Even if it's, you know, you message your soul sisters and you say, you know what? I think you're awesome and I love you and thanks for being in my life. And playfulness. Playfulness is so important. Having the joy is so important. We can be in our hearts, but we need that joy to really manifest things. Joy and playfulness bring gratitude, and they open your heart further. So find that playful side of yourself. Do some fun things over the next couple weeks. And then I have some Angels of Atlantis cards here about the energy. The first one is from Sandalphon, Planetary Cycles. So we are going through shifts and changes, and these shifts and changes are assisted by planetary cycles. So we're all going through this process. There's nothing to worry about. It's just part of the universal order. And everything is a cycle. You know, here we are, the sun is moving into Libra, and we're heading into fall or spring if you're in the southern hemisphere. And this is shifting the energy, and it's helping to shift you. Remember, the planetary energies, they open up opportunities. They'll open up doors, but it's up to you to walk through them. The universe can only do so much. You have to do your share too. You have to work on your own healing. And you have to be the one to take action. This one's no surprise. Gabriel, balance. Balance into wholeness. This inner balance will reflect in so many areas of your life. Not just with this energy with your twin, but in, like I said, knowing when to take action, tuning into your inner guidance. You'll be balanced in that. You will handle triggers better, is what I wanted to say. You'll find when you have this inner balance, when you get triggered, you recognize it so fast, and you know, it might trigger you for a minute, but then you're like, okay, I know this is me. I know this is not the person or the situation. This is showing me something about myself. What is it? You're able to be more detached so that you can look at things clearer. I'm just feeling like when enough of the divine feminine reach this point, they get this balance and they let go and surrender. This is going to speed up the process for the divine masculine. It's going to create some wave of energy. And that is, I think, bringing in this, which is Uriel freedom. More freedom. You keep yourself in prison. You are the only one that imprisons yourself. It's always your thoughts and your beliefs that are keeping you stuck. but you have the opportunity to heal on so many levels, in so many dimensions. The doors to healing are really open to you, and with that, the door to your freedom. So let go and surrender everything. Got one more card for you guys, and that is a Journey of Love card. Again, this is for both the masculine and feminine. It's number 49, Woman of Light. Pure is my joy, my celebration. I know the divine to be eternal. There is no limit to my peace, to my pleasure, as I rise and rise and rise again. Capable am I of receiving the light, of accepting the next level of illumination. I am sacred flesh coming to light. Think light body. Think more light coming into your physical body and those changes and upgrades going to your body. When we embody more of our higher selves, we're embodying more light. I am the walking temple, the living goddess, she who shines the truth. I come to you now. I am one with you now. I am the awakened one, and I am the awakener. This oracle brings you guidance that you are to be witness to the presence of an awakened being, either within your own self as part of your spiritual destiny or in the form of a beloved other. An awakened one is in your midst or soon will be. Receive the blessing that emanates from such a being. For to behold one is a gracious spiritual gift that will lift you to the next step of your path. If you are having trouble discerning the true presence of an awakened teacher in your midst, or even in your own being, remember that nothing is asked from you by such awakened ones, but loving devotions so that they may serve the awakening of all living beings. It requires much karmic grace to be granted immediate access to an awakened being, even more to become such a living light. Take delight. And there's a poem here. I asked God for a deepening of my love, without realizing that the deeper I was willing to go, the more it involved letting go of any part of myself that wanted to love and still be safe. In surrender to the possible lay the greatest potential for love, at levels before unknown. Like a cistern that holds the nectar of life and gives its precious liquid, only to be filled again with nature's flow. Such knowingness is a gift, for if you can embrace the blessing, you can live without question, relaxing and replenishing with each breath, with each kiss, always whole. I think that card sums up the whole reading rather nicely about how we are embodying more light, embodying new levels of awakening, new levels of heart energy, new levels of higher self, and new levels of surrender. And to surrender doesn't mean to quit, it means to open up to new levels of love, because when you've tethered yourself, it's like saying, I can only love you this much, because if I love you a little bit more, I'm not trusting what could happen. Where when you let go, when you surrender, there's no limit to your love. And there's no limit to who or what your love energy can go to. And so surrendering expands your level of love. And love is everything. Love is where everything comes from. And I just want to show you guys that the page number, if you can see it there, of that card is 111. So happy new moon. Happy Maven. I hope you have an awesome couple of weeks. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, watching and sharing my videos. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.